All right, last one, and then we got the NFV panel coming up.
All right, thank you. My presentation is called the Unambiguous Cloud, Past, Present, Future. Before I get started, I'd like to take a minute to thank Jeremy and the other organizers, as well as the OpenStack community for putting on such a great conference. I really had a good time. So, a little bit about myself. My name is Weizman. I'm a cloud architect for Crystal Management, and I'm currently doing consulting with the IDF on various cloud activities. I was actually born in Israel and immigrated to the US when I was younger, and now I'm back, hopefully to stay. So my goal for today is to help disambiguate the word cloud. Cloud means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. There's a lot of different ways to define cloud. There's a lot of different ways to implement cloud. It can be a bit confusing. Some of the terminology that you see up here, it's also very duplicative. It doesn't do much in the way of actually defining what the cloud is or how we got to cloud or where cloud might go. So part of today is to help define that. And let's start with a very long definition from the National Institutes of Standards and Technology. I'm not going to read this. I only have 15 seconds. But the point is that it is a very long, convoluted definition, which is good, but still it needs to be maybe simplified a little bit. So for me, cloud computing simply represents an evolution of efficiencies. We haven't created the wheel with cloud. We've simply gotten better at rotating that wheel. We've increased our efficiencies. And what happens when we increase efficiencies? We increase capacity, and we increase our knowledge base, and we increase ability to do very cool things with technology and help companies, and that's where the cloud exists. If you remember the CERN conversation from earlier, they have like 180,000 cores. That's a lot. So, as I mentioned before, we're just expounding on previous architectures. A node is to a mainframe, what a VM is to a hypervisor, what a service is to a cloud. It's just evolving, and so is our knowledge of it. So a familiar quote from a good friend of mine, Itzik, who likes to remind me of this almost daily, the only consistency in this life is change. But what change are we talking about with the cloud? We're not talking about, as I mentioned, creating the wheel or a new medium. We're talking about improving upon one. So this is a bad analogy, a car versus a jet. Obviously, a jet is a very powerful tool of transportation. You can go across oceans in only hours instead of weeks and months. But that's not really what we did with the cloud. So a better analogy is a carburetor versus a fuel injection. Before the fuel injection, there was a car. After the fuel injection, there was a car. But the car was more efficient. The car had more capacity. The car enabled us to do more things. This is very similar with the cloud. So how is the cloud more efficient? Well, it really combines these three key concepts: tenancy, resource pooling, automation. Those three powers combine to form Cloud Fabric. And Cloud Fabric is a very powerful tool for automation and doing things that we don't care to do. So, present day, what is OpenStack? It's a cloud framework, as we reiterated a few times earlier today. This means that we can extend this cloud fabric or framework, and it's also open source, so all of you can extend it. And what do you do with frameworks? You deploy them. So, the deployment models you could do are public, private, hybrid. Some people like to say there's community as well. I kind of lump that under private, but what do you do with deployments? What do deployments provide? They provide services. Different deployments all still provide cloud services. They may even provide the same cloud services. There may be some that don't provide as much. Maybe some cloud services are more mature, they're more powerful. They allow you to do more, but they're still deploying services. So the types of services we have are IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. And these each offer different levels of control and automation. The red indicates what would be managed by the cloud fabric. The yellow indicates what would be managed by the user. It's simply a matter of control. Where do I see the most benefit? Definitely with PaaS. This is the sweet spot for cloud, I think. And although it's definitely gaining ground, I think in the future to come it's going to gain a lot more ground. IoT, DevOps, big data, these are very powerful solutions under PaaS that can be deployed rapidly and easily. So what might be the next logical increase in efficiency? Maybe it's the OS. The OS is multitasking. It has sophisticated microprocessors, different cores now to do different things. Maybe we're going to break it down, componentize it a little bit more into an autonomous unit. So that's my presentation. Please connect with me. On Twitter, I'm just first and last name, Ori Weizman. Same with LinkedIn, Ori Weizman. And my email is oweizman@cmitmanage.com. Also, I have business cards if you'd like to see me afterwards, and definitely a shameless plug for my company. We've just opened an office in Tel Aviv and deal with cloud as well as ICT, so please, if you want to talk strategy or implementation or whatever, let me know. Thank you so much.